Your central problem is not that you've been mistaught how to understand and engage with your difficulties, your aging, your trauma, your sadness, your anxiety or grief, but the fact that you experience suffering at all, something that targeted consumption can address. Suffering is the new bad, and failing to consume the right remedies is the new injustice. This book tells the story of how, since the 1980s, this pro-market agenda has begun to harm both the UK and the West in general, turning our entire approach to mental health into something preoccupied with sedating us, depoliticizing our discontent, and keeping us productive and subservient to the economic status quo. By putting economic servitude before real individual health and flourishing, our priorities have become dramatically and dangerously misplaced, and more suffering, paradoxically, has been the unhappy result. I have written this book to do my part in helping to correct this dominant yet misguided approach, and to discuss how we might put things right by understanding and solving the real roots of our mental and emotional distress. To do so, I have travelled widely to speak with leaders in the mental health and associated professions, senior politicians, public officials, civil servants, and key academic thought leaders. I have become immersed in the relevant literature and archives, and have spent much time trawling the corridors of power in an attempt to help reform mental health from the inside. From these activities, I've gained invaluable insight into the socio-economic causes of our current mental health crisis, the revelations of which, often strange and disconcerting, litter the pages of this book. As you follow me through the coming chapters, you will encounter an array of harms caused by the very professions that purport to help us, from the perils of over-medicalization to excessive psychiatric drug prescribing, growing stigma, rising disability, the overvaluation of ineffective therapies, and poor clinical results. Yet most crucially, you will also see that these problems did not emerge in a vacuum, but have thrived under the new style of capitalism that has governed us since the 1980s, one favouring a particular type of thinking about mental health and intervention, one that has put the needs of the economy before our own, while anaesthetising us to the often psychosocial roots of our despair. As a result, we are rapidly becoming a nation sedated by mental health interventions that greatly overplay the help they bring, that subtly teach us to accept and endure rather than to stand up and challenge the social and relational conditions harming us and holding us back. In November 2013, in a small tatty apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, I sat searching the sales figures for perhaps the most influential book in the history of mental health, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, otherwise known simply as the DSM. The DSM, now in its 5th edition, is a weighty 947-page blue and silver tome. It is the book that lists and defines all the mental disorders that psychiatry believes to exist, and with which tens of millions of people across the globe are diagnosed each year. I was searching for the DSM's sales figures that November evening because the following day at Columbia University I was set to deliver a 2-hour lecture on the making of the manual. Between 2009 and 2012, with a grant from my university, I'd undertaken research into the DSM's development, trawling its archives in Washington, D.C., and interviewing its leading architects and writers. The data I had gathered appeared to support the growing international criticism of the DSM, then playing out internationally in leading newspapers and medical journals. A central criticism of this sprawling book of woe is that since the 1980s it has unjustifiably expanded the definition of mental illness to encompass more and more domains of human experience. It achieved this by rapidly increasing the number of mental disorders believed to exist from 106 in the early 1970s to around 370 today, and by progressively lowering the bar for what constitutes a psychiatric disorder, making it easier for any of us to be classed as mentally ill. These processes resulted in much of our everyday human distress being wrongly medicalized, pathologized, and eventually medicated. Grief at a significant loss, struggling to reach orgasm, experience